Hey everyone, it's April 19th, 2021. In this video, we got three news stories on the docket today. The first one we'll talk about is NASA's news from Mars that the Ingenuity helicopter, which was launched with the Perseverance rover that landed back in February, took its first flight, which is the first powered controlled flight on another planet. And then we're going to talk about how this news story, as virtually everything we see with NASA, is scripted in accordance with sports. So today we got news of Alex Smith, former number one pick back in 2005, retiring from the NFL. From the NBA, we also got a news story involving Scotty Pippen. Now today, April 19th, is the one-year anniversary of the release of The Last Dance, the miniseries that showed the final season of the Chicago Bulls back in 1998. And we're told that his oldest son died at 33, which was the number that Scottie Pippen wore. So we'll look at how all this is connected and how each story also connects to this Eclipse code with the big lunar eclipse coming up next month. So let's start by looking at this story involving the Ingenuity helicopter. Notice today's standard numerology of 44. This is the gematria of space in the alphabetic order. But special attention should be paid to the date 419, April 19th. Now, the number 419 is the 81st prime number. This number is found in the Jewish gematria of Ingenuity, the name of the helicopter that went up. But there's something else that stands out about today's date. Today is not only the 19th day of the month, but it also has numerology of 19. Furthermore, today is the 109th day on the calendar. And check out the gematria of Ingenuity helicopter, 109 in the standard reduction method. So Fox News, one of these crappy outlets, is giving us a story here, and notice how their headline sums to 430 in reduction. And these news outlets that give us these stories are aware of what's happening. They're aware of the deception and all the lies, so they code their stories accordingly. Now, the 43rd prime number is 191. The phrase helicopter on Mars sums to 191. And this is a number we discuss frequently. The Jesuit order's name, Society of Jesus, sums to 191 in the alphabetic order. And the Society of Jesus is very much enveloped in astronomy and astrology. Their emblem is a sun where you can see the corona, and of course the corona only visible during a total solar eclipse. In Jewish ordinal, total solar eclipse sums to 191, this same number found in the Society of Jesus and helicopter on Mars. Today's news, here on Monday the 19th, falls exactly 191 weeks after the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. Notice how this flight was also 8 weeks and 4 days after the Perseverance rover on which the Ingenuity sat landed on Mars, allegedly. And 84 is another significant Jesuit number. Both Jesuit and the Jesuit order sums to 84. 8 weeks, 4 days after the landing. So we're talking about this helicopter, and I called this, when we first decoded the landing on Mars, that whenever this helicopter was going to fly, there was going to be a riddle connected to Kobe Bryant. Of course, Kobe Bryant died last year in January in the most infamous helicopter crash of all time. Now, the word helicopter has gematria of 666, and 666 is a number I examined very closely in connection with Kobe Bryant last year. It was his 666th career game where he scored 81 points. And I actually have a few posts linked here that you can check. 666 is also a number connected to NASA. National Aeronautics and Space Administration sums to 666 in the reverse alphabetic order. Now, a number we need to be familiar with for this video is 311. In Jewish gematria, the beast equals 311, and 666 considered to be the number of the beast in Revelation. So what stood out to me is that the number 666, or I'm sorry, 311, is a prime number. Notice here how 311 is the 64th prime number. Today's primary numerology is 64, and yesterday was exactly 64 weeks after Kobe Bryant's death. And speaking of the number 64, NASA turns 64 in 1 year and 101 days. This connects to the ordinal value of helicopter, 111. Now, another thing that's significant about the number 64 is its connection to the planet Mercury. I frequently talk about how each planet has their own magic square, and Mercury's 8x8 square has 64 smaller squares inside of it. Mercury, or Hermes in Greek lore, was the god of travelers, and this was really relevant to the death of Kobe Bryant, who died in a helicopter, of course, a mode of transportation. And when he died, Kobe Bryant was exactly 86 mercurial days old. And notice how Mercury equals 86 in Gematria. And when we're talking about mercurial days, it's actually really interesting how days work on Mercury. It's exactly 2 years on Mercury for them to complete 1 day. Notice how the orbital period of 88 days, just like how there's 88 squares in the magic square, that's only half a day on Mercury. It's a really cool orbit they have. Now, in the alphabetic order, Mercury equals 103, and this takes us to our next story involving Alex Smith and his retirement, announced today, the same day that the Ingenuity helicopter took off. In Jewish gematria, Alex Smith sums to 563, which is the 103rd prime number. Remember, 103, a number of Mercury, which drove the ritual behind Kobe Bryant. By the way, Fox News' headline on the helicopter, not only did it have the 43 gematria that we looked at earlier, but in ordinal it sums to 1,060. And the 1060 connects us to the number 16. Well, isn't it interesting that the number 16 is listed in the headline for Alex Smith's retirement, as he played 16 years in the NFL. Alex Smith's full name has this gematria of 232, which is connected to Satan. Now, a lot of people think 666 is about Satan. That's really a misnomer. But when we look at Sumerian gematria, we see that Alex Smith also has gematria of 666. Notice the trigonal value of 966, the same digits, but upside down. And his retirement on the same day as this helicopter launch, Helicopter 666, NASA 666. But what's so interesting about Alex Smith is how he numerically connects to both the moon and Mars through his date of birth. Alex Smith was born on May 7th, the date written 5/7. Notice how 666 and triple sixes equals 57. The word helicopter is 57, and so is Mars in Gematria. Now, the number 57 is more closely associated with the moon. Of course, the moon has a 57-degree range of declination, and the word moon equals 57 in ordinal. The name Alex even equals moon in reduction. So with the moon being so closely linked to this, and this is no coincidence, by the way, in my first post where I discussed the Perseverance landing, I talked about how this was a Moon-Mars ritual. In fact, on the date of this landing, the moon came in conjunction with Mars. and the date connected with both Moon and Mars. And again, Moon and Mars has the same gematria, 51 and 57, connecting us to Alex Smith. So when we calculate Alex Smith's age on today's date, we get 13,496 days. And when converted to lunar phases, we find this is exactly 457 lunar phases. Well, 457 is the 88th prime number. And in Gematria, Alexander Douglas Smith equals 88. Smith was born in the year 84. Remember, we just mentioned this number as Jesuit 84, the Jesuit Order 84, and the helicopter flight was 8 weeks, 4 days after the landing. Some more 666 coding on this. The number 666 is the 36th triangular number. That's Alex Smith's current age. If you add 6 plus 6 plus 6, you get 18, and Alex Smith is 18 days before his birthday. Remember, he broke his leg in the year 18, and that was a really wild story. I linked that post in this one as well. And Alex Smith broke his leg on the same yard line that Joe Theismann broke his leg on. Both of these games featured the Redskins. And the final score of both games was even the exact same, 23-21. And these two injuries were separated by exactly 33 years, both on November 18th. So it was my guess that this was an organic event. I mean, Joe Theismann was even at the game. Alex Smith is said to have almost died from that injury after some surgery complications, and it's kind of a miracle he even came back. All right, so let's talk about this Eclipse riddle here, because this is going to connect to the Scotty Pippen story as well, and it's a very important thing to understand. So this year there's going to be a total lunar eclipse. And it occurs on May 26th of 2021. So right now we know we're in a very significant astrological period, as there's two total solar eclipses passing over the United States, creating an X. X marks the spot right in the middle of the U.S., in the Midwest here. And it was right at the midway point of these two eclipses that the Jesuit Order and associated secret societies introduced the coronavirus. Now remember, the word corona, as I mentioned earlier, is just the atmosphere of the sun visible during an eclipse. But, you know, not only is it solar eclipses that are very significant right now, because the total solar eclipse that occurred at the halfway point of these two eclipses was in 2020. And total solar eclipse equals 2020, and also 1212 Sumerian. And this 2020 total solar eclipse began lunation number 1212. And you can do some research on this yourself over at Time and Date. Punch in the year 2020, and we see that this was lunation 1212. And it was on this date, December 14th, that we got the total solar eclipse, 2020 and 1212. But we find something that's also very significant when we type out total lunar eclipse, because we get 1218 in Sumerian. Now this year, we get lunation 1218, but right before that, we get this very significant total lunar eclipse on May 26th. In the book of Revelation, there's one verse that mentions both a solar and lunar eclipse. And that verse has gematria of 526 and 221. And here we have this lunar eclipse on 5/26/2021. So this is a pretty big deal, and we're seeing it coded into all of these news stories. So what's so significant about Alex Smith's age is not just his age today, the date he retired, but how old will he be on the date of this big lunar eclipse? And I want you to pay special attention to this 533. Notice the phrase lunar eclipse sums to 533. And the number 533 is 13 times the 13th prime number. And Alex Smith will be 13,533 days old on the date of that eclipse. So it's a wonder that he's a big star, right? Because he's got these incredible numbers. But this is what really blows my mind. Look what happens when you type out 533. All of these numbers connect to Alex Smith. 128 and 115 in reduction. Look at Alex Smith's birthday, born on the 128th day of the year with 115 primary numerology. Furthermore, 533 sums to 322. And when Alex Smith broke his leg in 2018, that was the 322nd day of the year. The name Smith summing to 322 with the Fibonacci cipher. As far as the 272, I actually just talked about this number in my video about Ben Roethlisberger. His numerology was connected to the death of Prince Philip. And what I pointed out in that video was that Benjamin Todd Roethlisberger equals 272 in the alphabetic order. And his one game he played in London was on the 272nd day of the year. The moon is 0.272 the size of the Earth. So this number 533 is so significant. Keep an eye out for that, no doubt. So, let's see. There's some more here. I'll let you guys check out the post if you want to discover more about the deeper connections, but let's get to this story about Scotty Pippen. Number 33 for the Bulls, wore number 33 his entire career, and now his oldest son dead at the age of 33. And remember, last year, we had the release of The Last Dance, this miniseries that documented the Chicago Bulls' final championship series in 1998. And that debut was on April 19th of 2020. Well, here we are, April 19th, exactly 1 year later, getting the news of the death of Scottie Pippen's son. So we mentioned how today has primary numerology of 64. The Chicago Bulls sums to 64 in reduction. And again, the 64th prime number is 311. Pippen's son's name was Antron, which equals 311 in the same cipher where the beast equals 311. His name, Antron Pippen, has matching 68 gematria with The Last Dance and Chicago Bulls. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a basketball number, 68, the gematria of basketball. So Scottie Pippen has some interesting numerology, and it's really no wonder why he was chosen to wear number 33 for the Bulls during this incredible ritual. Check out his birthday of September 25th, or 925. 925 is the English gematria of Jesus Christ. And remember, it was Jesus who is said to have been crucified on the in the year 33, at the age of 33. And Jesus has very similar gematria to 33, Judas, and ritual human sacrifice. Bulls also sums to 33 in gematria. The name Scotty Maurice Pippen, when it's spelled with the standard IE, has 303 gematria, just like crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Now, last year, I did a post on the death of Michael Jordan's father, James Jordan. And it's incredible how many of the same numbers I pointed out in this post are here. Jordan's father's full name also had gematria of 303, just like Scottie Pippen. And what I noticed is that Michael Jordan was randomly in the news today. And of course, this is never really random. But it was published today, April 19th, 2021. And this news story is about an auction from 2012. It was from 9 years ago, but here it is in the news today. And it's about an American Express card for $3,000. So think about this. A credit card CC33 with number 33 from the Bulls in the news. And when you look at American Express and measure from their date of establishment, which was March 18th, we find that today was a span of 33 days later. And notice the number they put on there, 3,000. 3,000 has matching gematria with Antron Pippen. So the number 33 is closely connected to the number 666, which we've been talking about throughout the course of this video in connection to the helicopter. 33 has gematria of 66 and 60, like 666. And in ordinal, 33 matches 666 and triple sixes. Scotty Pippen is currently 666 months old. His full name, Scotty Maurice Pippen, has matching gematria with 666. 666 and Number of the Beast both have gematria of 87. Pippen was selected in the 87 NBA draft. His son was also born in the year 87. That was 33 years ago. Notice how the name Pippen also connects to 666 through the inverse. If we look at Scottie Pippen's age, to be exact, we get 55 years, 206 days. The word sacrifice, 55 and 206. He's also got that 55 life lesson number. And this story, no doubt, also connected to next month's Revelation Eclipse. So this past weekend was 1,192 weeks since the Chicago Bulls won their final championship. And in that one verse of Revelation that we looked at earlier with the solar and lunar eclipse, it has gematria of 1192. Now, on the date of the Revelation lunar eclipse, Scottie Pippen will be 20,332 days old. Look at this 332. Scottie Pippen equals 332, so does Bulls. Blood sacrifice equals 332. And today is 332 months since the death of James Jordan Sr. That Revelation eclipse falls 1,197 weeks after the Bulls NBA championship. The name Antron Pippen equals 1197. So does 666. And think about how it was the Bulls' 6th NBA championship in the year 1998. Well, if you multiply 666 times 3, look at this, you get 1998. And the Bulls won their 6th title that year. The name Michael Jeffrey Jordan in gematria equals 19 and 98. And look how old Michael Jordan will be on the date of the Revelation eclipse. 699 months and 9 days. So there you have it. Once again, the world of sports, the Jesuit-controlled mainstream media, the Masonic-controlled National Aeronautics and Space Administration, all mocking us day by day together by the numbers, but each day it gets less effective as more and more people continue to wake up to what's going on around them. All right, everybody. Peace, love, God bless. And, yeah, again, I'll have an announcement regarding the channel coming up pretty soon. I think I got a new journey laying ahead of me here with this, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next time. See ya.